Welcome, low ego action heroes and phoenixes. This is Debbie Levitt from dcx. Check us out. Why not? dcx.to. There might be something there you like. And welcome to our Wednesday show. And we will be joined by Dr. Nick, which is why I'm wearing a headset. And what can I tell you? Before we get started with Dr. Nick, let me cue him up. Just a reminder to everybody that we have some cool events coming up. Hi, Ana Lucia. Oh, I forgot my light. We have some cool events coming up. You can find them at dcx.to/events. We have a 3-day conference coming up at the end of May 2025. I've got a cohort course I'm running in June, and I have been working my butt off on a huge PowerPoint deck that I'm going to give as a webinar on June 24th about will AI be a resurgence for UX work, because so many posts on LinkedIn say yes, and I'm going to have to say no to that one. Oops, sorry that the stream is blipping. Our internet at our house isn't working, and I am on my hotspot, so I hope we can do the show. I'm sorry if it's blipping, but let's check in with Dr. Nick and see if he's blipping or if it's just me. Dr. Nick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
All right, thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
I do hear you okay. Probably need to turn you up in my headset a little bit. I'm sorry that we're going to be blipping a little bit. Again, I'm on backup internet, so it's wacky times here. Dr. Nick, anything you want to talk about or plug while I queue up some of our questions?
Anything you want, really. I've been fighting with AI, as you can probably tell on LinkedIn and grumbling. I've got very strong opinions about AI right now. I don't think anybody can say anything about AI. And you saw the other post I made about the AI prompt engineer crew, because that guy we all saw was like some guy with no research experience whatsoever selling research prompts. I mean, absolutely bonkers. The point is it's really bad right now. I mean, I've never seen it so bad, and I think it's an actual liability. I could potentially share my screen and show you what I've been up to, but it's probably a really dangerous thing to do.
Don't do it.
I've been doing everything, and I mean everything. In order to kick the tires, I've been asking it everything from logic to analysis. Anything I can possibly do in my daily life, whether it's work related or not, if I can involve GPT in it by taking a picture of it and dragging it in that way, or solving a situational problem. And it has lied and hallucinated and given one-dimensional answers and unconsidered answers and illogical answers within a few replies. No context window BS, none of that. There's something fundamentally wrong with the way the LLMs are thinking at the moment. And it ain't just GPT. GPT is particularly bad, yes. But Grok will do it. Claude will do it. Gemini will do it. DeepSeek will definitely do it, as will that Quen or whatever it's called. That one definitely does it. I don't know what's going on. It's like there's a hive mind between different companies, and they're all gone dumb at the same time. Don't get it.
Well, then you're going to love our first question today. So our first question today, and I need to kind of give the caveat that once in a while, it's rare on my show, but I believe it has happened in the past, I get an Ask Me Anything question that, in my opinion, is from a company that is hoping we're going to end up promoting them for free. So let me read this question to you, and then let's make sure we don't promote them. So the question came in that said, have you checked out the service Voice Panel for UX research? The CEO offers a free intro call and product demo. Could be a good conversation if he's open to joining the show. And that's where I added, note, #not sponsored, and might come from this company or the CEO trying to promote their product on my show. So let me clearly say that I recommend against this company and tools like this. So I took a look at the Voice Panel homepage to understand what it was. Nick, did you have the time to take a look at that?
I'm first of all going to open up with hello, Jason Lee.
Oh,
Jason Lee is the CEO.
okay.
So I've done my background.
Okay. Thank you. You did more than I did. So, hi, Jason. So, Nick, what did you learn about Voice Panel when you went to their homepage so we can tell everybody else who's not looking?
Okay. To Jason, to Debbie's wonderful audience of Delta CXs and Phoenixes and everybody else, I tell you this. Jason, people like you are causing people like me and Debbie and the rest of our audience the most amount of trouble. Now, I say this with pure love and kindness, not being horrible, but it's going to sting, okay? Your background is mechanical engineering at university at both master's and bachelor's levels. That's great. You've got a science education, fan-freaking-tastic, okay? That is not a research career. That is not a commercial research career. Now, you're also an entrepreneur. You made a lot of money from the last, where you were COO or whatever it was. You made a lot of money, and this is great. You want to start up because there is a massive need for research tooling. That's great. I get it, entrepreneurial. However, you've clearly developed this product in a top-down way, ideating what people might need. Now, I watched the 30-second video that is on your website. That 30-second video is a good idea, but it said, how will you know what your users want? And I was like, oh, wow. Okay,
Right.
You fundamentally don't get it. And
Yeah,
that's
tell
the
me
problem.
tell me you don't understand user research without telling me you don't
Yeah.
understand user research.
Totally. And you just don't understand that. Now, what you've built is a tool or a suite of partial vaporware at the minute, because I haven't really kicked the tires on it, but it's overextending into so many different areas of different kinds of research, market research, user research, and others, that it doesn't actually understand what it's doing and what it's trying to be. It has no identity. It has no tool capability for people like me and Debbie, because it doesn't know who or what it is. And people like me wouldn't touch that thing with a barge pole,
Right.
right?
It
Now,
doesn't solve
here's
a
the
problem we're having.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. And here's the icing on the cake. The AI that you've thrown in all over that thing is going to take what is a difficult thing and make it a lot worse. Only it's going to seem a lot better. So the people that use your thing, who don't know what they're doing, think the tooling is helping them, will be making their lives worse, and they won't know it. Get me? So it's a bullshit machine. It's a misinformation machine, unfortunately, in the wrong hands. That's a major problem, and that's the bottom line here. Product managers shouldn't be using this kind of a tool in place of actual research. Now, I understand that not everyone has money for a researcher, but that's too big a jump. That's a big jump into a land of automation and intelligence, which is way too far, especially given that Debbie and I have led off with AI is in a bad state right now with regards to validity.
Yeah, and for those of you who didn't, let's
you.
quickly fill in the blanks, because we forgot to tell people, unless they opened up the Voice Panel website, that it appears to be, and neither of us tried it, it appears to be an AI tool that will run interviews for you. It will interview, it will do the interview. So this goes beyond, hey, let ChatGPT write or rewrite your research plan. This goes beyond, hey, why don't you let Claude do a little analysis and synthesis for you? Or, hey, Microsoft Copilot wants to make your slides. It's going into the territory of this will interview humans for you. Now, last year, a startup came to me and said, we want you to see this product. It was the identical thing. It was just somebody else's flavor of it. And the CEO, in this case, you're saying it's a mechanical engineer. The one I saw last year, it was a product manager. And they actually had a demo where you could get a fake interview done with the AI. So I did it. And I remember it asked me a question and I breathed in to answer. I went, and before I could answer it, it said, great, let me ask you the next question. And I was like, how did the AI just now think that me breathing was an actual answer to the question? Why didn't it wait for an answer or say, do you need more time to think about it? Or which would just be pressure and bullshit. But yeah, so, Anna Lucy is asking, is this the company Joel was talking about the other day? I don't know. I didn't see what Joel was talking about. But yeah, a lot of these companies are putting product managers and marketing on their web pages because they know that it's not for us or by us. But I'm always amazed that none of these appear to have been made with or by researchers. They're usually just people going, oh, wow, you know what? You know what I think companies have a problem with? They're not talking to enough customers. And you know what? We can fix that. We'll have a robot talk to the customers. And when you think, and that is easily said when you've never done the work that Nick and I have done, and other people in the chat. KB is a researcher. And Melanie's done research, and Ana Lucia does research. So if you've never done research, and you don't know what really good research looks like, you can definitely build a robot to do mediocre or bad research. And I want to make one more point, and then I'll pass it back to Nick. And that is, some of you who are fans of the show will remember that of just some months ago, we actually tried this live on the show with Claude. Now, Claude can't have a spoken conversation with me, but Claude can have a typed conversation with me. And I gave Claude a scenario, and I said, you are the researcher, I will be the participant, and I will talk about a real experience I had with a company. You will write the questions, you will ask me the questions, you will ask spontaneous follow-up questions so that you can achieve the goals of finding out XYZ for these reasons, pretending that you work for Thomann music equipment in Germany. And we did it live on the show. I didn't practice it ahead of time. I had no idea what Claude would do. And some of the questions were okay, and most of them were not really good. And so Claude was going to get some insights out of that, but nowhere near the amount of insights people would really need. So we ended up giving it some low scores on that. So we've tried this. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah. One of the things that absolutely sprung to mind when I was having a look at the website, a voice panel, and you talking, this is not what you and I would consider a research tool. This is what I think you and I would consider a market research feedback tool. Right?
Yeah, it's probably
like
a survey. It's probably like having a robot talk you through a survey.
Yeah, no, but it's like, you know, the sidebar tabs that say feedback, and you can click on it, like, get feedback, and they were all the rage a number of years ago. Right. It's kind of like that. It's basically, when you say, oh, because when you look through this, it goes, you'd say, oh, I'm having a problem, and it'll go, oh, what don't you like? And, you know, and it Jason, if you're still viewing, you're assuming that people are there to give you feedback. And guess what? They're not. They're there to do the thing that they're there to do, right? If they stop to give you feedback, they're either really ragey or generally they won't. It's a super biased context for feedback. But so it's so messy. What you need to do is to talk to like someone like me or Debbie, and probably pay us a decent consulting fee, to help you shape this product, to shape it to the needs of the actual audience. Now, you're trying to make it to everyone. You're going to have to narrow that down a bit and focus your product. The rest is a cost. The other thing I want to say was directed versus directed research, you know, versus fishing expeditions. This feels like a fishing expedition machine. You know, it's not for directed, I have a research question I want to go find out. It's more reactive, I think, in that people are going to tell me what they're going to tell me, and the machine's going to kind of help empty it out. Again, that's machine-led research, isn't it? Or machine-led methodology, I'm not sure. It scares me, it worries me, I think it's premature.
I'm just writing a message to put up on the screen. Yeah, so in general, Nick and I are still not completely hot on a lot of these AI tools. You still have to babysit and double check them. There's only certain areas in which they work even a little. I am not having Claude write or edit my plans. I am certainly not going to have Claude run the sessions. I am trying Claude with some analysis and synthesis and helping me get my reports done faster. But even that is still a very early experiment for me with some success, but not as much as I would hope. So ultimately, voice panel and systems like that appear to be a solution for a problem that not everybody is having. And especially when you think about, even if you think about the product management books and trainers and thought leaders that you and I don't necessarily like, even they say humans should talk to humans. They think product managers should be doing the research, but at least they think that humans should be going out and meeting customers and users. And so we're not even at a place yet where thought leaders and experts and people we respect are out there going, yeah, forget about your users. You don't have to talk to them. Just let robots talk to people, or let robots talk to robots pretending to be your users. Like there really is, there's no support for this. There's nobody saying this is a good way to go. And so, all these people can do is try to get themselves a little bit of visibility on my show by pretending to be asking a question about it. But ultimately, I want people to absolutely not use voice panel or anything like it. I still want humans to research with humans.
Yeah, this is all part of the race to the bottom on validity this is all part of the race to the bottom on validity and anti-science. Maybe this is just going to help accelerate it, and then we can recover. But when there's no for validity, when it's just okay, look at this particular problem. If the AI is going to do the recruitment, that's level one of potential validity problems, right? So it's going to do the recruitment. Then number two is you've got paid participants. So there's a whole bunch of skew and bias in there as well, coming from the pool. Then it's going to come up with your methodology or the script, and that's another level of problem. And then it's going to deliver it, and that's another level of problem. And then it's going to analyze it, another level of problem, and then report it. I mean, front to back, you've got no solid. There's no golden thread. There's nothing good about that. You're basically handing your validity into a machine which has known hallucination and validity problems. So, good luck with that.
Right, and yeah, I have lots of other thoughts on that, but we've covered them on this channel before. So I'm going to jump into the next question. We have two more questions.
Before you do that, sorry, Deb. In terms of the race to the bottom, this is super important. People are going to do this. They're being entrepreneurial. They're being creative. They're trying to fill gaps. The ultimate acid test is: does it help build a better product, better user experience, make more money ultimately? And these things can't when they're generating insight that isn't valid or doesn't move the needle, or what I mean. So what I would believe that in time, those that are genuinely good, that can be attributed or are attributed to building better product, rise above the others, and the others die because they're not offering value. That's where I want it to go. Please, please, please.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so much we could say about this, but I do want to get to some other questions we got today. If you have a question, you can ask it in the chat. It'll come up on the screen, and I'll paste it into our bucket of questions. You can also ask anonymously at the top of the screen, dcx.to/q, and that will come into my email. So the next two questions, well, all of these came in anonymously into my email. And KB says, these could also function purely as a marketing marketing tool. Imagine offering someone a discount coupon in exchange for doing a quick AI-led interview, but instead of doing actual UXR, the AI is subtly steering the conversation to sell something through manipulative questions. That's a new nightmarish level of upselling. Yes, KB going straight for the bad actors and the unethical. So this was the next question that we got. What do you think about Figma's latest release?
You really want to trigger me today, don't you? I haven't actually touched much of it because, number one, I'm super busy and I just don't have time to play around with that stuff. And when I do have playtime, I'm doing it with AI. Number two, I think it's great that the prototyping thing is all coming to fruition finally. It's an Azure killer of
No,
sorts.
it's not. No, they didn't. I don't think
okay.
they released anything related to that.
Oh, well, they announced it. I think that's what we're talking about, right? Is that what we're talking about? The raft of things at Discover last week? Because there was a whole bunch of things. There was like the Notion killer. There was a Canva killer. There was a whole bunch of different things in there.
Yeah, I just saw the that they're trying to like do WordPress or something. They're trying to build your website and Figma sites.
Yeah. It was basically, I mean, I think it was like prototyping plus. That's what I took from the 30 seconds I watched.
Oh, I didn't see that at all. No, I didn't see anything about prototyping features. I think you still can't type in a text field.
Okay. Well, you know what? The whole point of this is that Figma have got fundamental UX problems around the core product and the slides product, and they still want to just build new instead of improving existing, which is classic modern product management, right? I think it becomes, this is all I can think of, is that the growth KPIs all involve new. So improving existing isn't considered growth, and therefore at the high levels of financial management and business management, you want growth. So that's kind of a hard, bitter pill to swallow, really.
Good point. Want to read a comment we got from Liz. Good to see Liz Hitchens in the audience, and she's commenting on the last thing, and she said, "I've had fake paid for users using AI to pretend they are a particular user. That is really a race to the bottom. How can we stop that ruining our research? I was forced to still interview them." What I've done is I've built into my consent form that you agree that all of the answers you are giving are honest and true for you, and that if at any point in the research we determine that your answers are not honest or that you kind of don't belong in this study, the session will be terminated and you will not be paid. And I have found that that has helped narrow that down a bit. So yeah, it's not going to fix. So I wouldn't have interviewed them. It doesn't make sense to interview. I had that a couple of times where I had to throw people out of a study because we were looking for, like it was only Americans, and somebody was clearly on the other side of the world because the sun was up in America and they were in the dark, and and so they were lying about that, and I just had to say, I don't think you're in New York. I'm going to end this session now, and you will not be paid. So. Back to Figma. So what do I think about Figma's latest releases? In general, I'm not paying attention to Figma. Figma is not a key tool that I use. Figma is not a tool that I care a lot about. Figma is a tool that I expect to experience a lot of problems as a company because they've had so much money in investment. How are they ever going to pay off those investors? Of course, they've announced they want to go public, but that's not stock I'm going to buy. I don't think Figma has a strong future. I've noticed from their conferences that they just keep trying to play to product managers. They seem to be making Figma harder to use for designers. And now they're trying to kill Canva or WordPress or what was some of the other things that I saw people writing about on LinkedIn, because I'm not paying attention because I don't care. So ultimately, the only thing that matters about Figma's latest release is what you think about it, audience member. If you like it and it helps you in some way, that's great. But I still see Figma taking a big fall at some point. I can't help it, especially when my clients are, I've talked about this before. A client showed me Replit. Again, hashtag not sponsored. I'm definitely not shilling for Replit. But basically, it's AI, and they wrote a prompt into the system, and they said, create a system that lets people list a car for sale, and they can get multiple offers. And the system literally did all of the UX, all of the UI, coded it, and made an MVP in minutes. And so to me, that's the kind of thing that's going to eat Figma's lunch, because sure, Figma's going to end up the new Zeppelin, I think. Figma's going to end up being great for design systems, but then someone's going to plug that design system into an AI. And so I think that's my guess. I could be wrong, and maybe some people want me to be wrong, but I think Figma's going to end up like Zeppelin, where it's really kind of a design system where UI meets front-end dev thing. And people are just going to start turning to AI tools to build at least early prototypes in minutes for what can now take people a week. And then so a client I have builds things in Replit, takes them to usability testing with real users, figures out what's working and what's not, and then has designers go from there. And I can't tell them that's a bad idea, because they're doing decent usability testing on a decent prototype. I can't say, how dare you, that should be in Figma, or how dare you, that should be in Axure, or how dare you, a human should have made that. It's an interesting place to start. So I don't care about Figma.
Yeah, exactly. This is where a researcher is always agnostic as to what they're given to test, generally speaking, within ethical and legal boundaries and all of that good stuff, right? Like, I don't want you to give me a Figma prototype. I'd love an Axure, or give me code or something better. But you know what I mean?
Agreed.
I'll test whatever you give me, and I'll make the best of it. This is why I really believe we will be the last people standing in this kind of knowledge worker kind of Pac-Man by AI, because it's going to... it needs the human interaction. It needs the psychology. That's the big missing component that you're not going to automate. You're just not going to. Or you can, as you can see with voice panel and others, but it comes with great risk. Whereas a human being is a much safer pair of hands. Delivers value.
And it looks like we have a question from Vicky. Vicky, we have a question before you. And you might want to clarify your question a little bit, and we'll get to it afterwards. It sounds like you are trying to get into UX design. Is that right? Maybe, Vicky, you can give us some more details so we can answer that after this one. The next question we got, Nick, is really long. I'm going to have to read it. Oop, I hit the wrong button again. The next question is really long. Sorry, I have to hit 4, not merge. It's impossible to read. I'm on a 50-inch television and I can't read that. So let me read it out loud, and everybody take notes, and we'll break it into pieces and we'll answer it. Here's the question that came in anonymously. In the wake of this brutal job market, how do I overcome disrespectful ghosting? To share more of my experiences, this includes 1. A recruiter who reached out to me for a role, asked me to fill out and send back my information and resume over email and LinkedIn, but she ended up never getting back to me, and I called her multiple times. 2. A recruiter sent me a connection request on LinkedIn. When I asked her, could we have a coffee chat and call? She instead saw my profile and message but never reached out. I deleted her. 3. My fair share of experiences where recruiters reached out to me asking me if I was interested in a role and speaking, where I responded back yes and sent over my resume but never followed up. 4. Asking people for the company they work for, can we do a coffee chat to learn about a day in the life of their work? I never come off as needy or asking for a referral. I'll be the judge of that. But they end up looking at my profile without any follow-up. There's a lot that I want to respond to there. Nick, do you want to jump in on any of the things you heard me say, or anything I can read for you?
No, I got it. I can read it on my monitor.
Good.
One of the things you probably need to consider, and I didn't get this either, right? So brace yourself. A lot of these messages are not to you. They are spam, right? But they are written very cleverly, or using a LinkedIn recruiter to basically personalize it. So you think they're writing to you and it's flattery and they got something and then because they've sent that to 100 or 1,000 people, and they're never going to get back to you because they're only interested in the hits, if you know what I mean, and you're not a hit. So
and in some cases they're scams. We're doing a show about that next week, I think. So sometimes these are just scams.
Yeah, there's a lot of flattery, let's say spam flattery, probably AI driven, Barnum or Fora effect, lots of flattery going on that makes you think you're special or you're wanted or you're needed. Unfortunately, a lot of this is just false signal. It's noise, and that's why they won't get back to you, because it's a spray and pray, or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
very,
that's
very
all
true.
I've got on that, unfortunately.
That's totally fine. We'll go back over some of the questions inside the questions. So, disrespectful ghosting. First of all, ghosting is so common at this point. I cannot get caught up in whether or not it's disrespectful, because the bottom line is ghosting is a thing. It's now common. It might be disrespectful, but it's only disrespectful if you have high expectations for that person. If you have low expectations where, you know what, this is probably some dickhead somewhere who's probably not even going to write me back, then you're not going to be so disappointed. But you appear to have high expectations that when this person contacts you or you contact them, there's going to be some great connection and some real momentum to this relationship. Then you get disappointed when you don't hear from them. So I would say thing one is drop your expectations. Go into everything assuming you are never going to hear from this person again. And if you do hear from them, what a lovely surprise. And so, so thing one, ghosting is common. A recruiter reached out for a role, asked me to fill out and send out my information and resume over email, didn't get back to me, and I called her multiple times. So again, to me, I only follow up with people once, maybe twice, and then I stop. So if you are sending 2, 3, 4, 5 emails or phone calls to someone, that could feel a little strange to the other person. And a lot of times these jobs don't exist, or they get filled and people just don't respond. Liz says, I'm having a lot of ghosting after interview requests. Unfortunately, there's a recruiter scam to collect right to represent, and you're never submitted. Yeah, so I don't give right to represent unless I know the job, the company, and the pay, and then I'll consider it. But no way am I otherwise going to give people right to represent. The second point in this question was a recruiter sent me a connection request on LinkedIn. When I asked if we can have a coffee chat, she didn't reach out and I deleted her. I don't say yes. I say I ignore nearly every connection request I get. And some of them are from all of you in the audience, and I apologize. But unfortunately, a LinkedIn connection doesn't mean what it used to mean. And a recruiter, so before you add a recruiter on LinkedIn, go to their profile. And please join my upcoming show, is it next Tuesday, about how to spot fake LinkedIn recruiters, because then you can save yourself a lot of time. It sounds like the person who wrote this question is spending a lot of time dealing with recruiters who might even be fake accounts. So yeah, you don't have to add someone as a connection request. When they try to make a connection request, you have accept and you have message. So you don't have to accept it. You can send them a message and say, thanks for reaching out. Do you have a job that might fit me? You can start a conversation with them and you don't have to add them as a connection. Some of them are just trying to amass connections so they look less scammy. Third, you wrote, my fair share of experiences where recruiters reach out asking if I'm interested in role and speaking. When I respond yes and send my resume, and that's it. Yeah, again, a lot of these are scams. Many of them are resume writing scams. And so that, maybe they just figured they didn't have you on the hook. And then finally, this one I want to talk about a minute before I get to the comments. Asking people for the company they work for, can we do a coffee chat to learn about the day in the life of their work? I never come off as needy or asking for a referral, but they look at my profile without any follow-up. So it's a lot right now to ask people for coffee chats. I know that I'm turning a lot of these down because a coffee chat in many ways, not always, says, I want to pick your brain. Dr. Nick, there's something you know, there's something you have, and I want it. So you have a half hour? Dr. Nick, you ever feel like you have a spare half hour in your life?
Oh, what, just to educate the world for free at my cost? Yeah, sure.
Just have a
I
coffee
actually
chat
do a lot
with
of
someone.
that. I really do.
Yeah. So again, some of us make time for people. We know I do. We know you can. We know other people who do. But again, this is where why does this person expect that everyone is going to have time to do a coffee chat with them? I think that might not be a reasonable expectation, because you're saying, asking people for the company they work for, can we do a coffee chat to learn about a day in the life? Remember, if these are fake accounts or scam accounts, they're not going to get on a call with you. They're not going to show their face. They're not going to reveal their voice. A lot of these scams happen through messages and WhatsApps and emails. You never talk to these people. So you might be blessedly ghosted because you are not falling into these scams. Let's take a look at some comments.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Can I just say something real quick? Like, for those of us that do work in agile pods, like you're given tickets. You agree to deliver these tickets by in the 2-week period, and that's your day, right? Is trying to get the work done in between meetings, right? So you can deliver these tickets. So you want me to stop and do something that's not going to help me deliver that? Or what you're saying is okay, so when I stop work at, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, that's family and personal and wind down time. So you want me to spend that time doing that? I mean, that's literally what my working life or my life is like. And so it's kind of a big ask. And people like Debbie, myself, we all give a lot of ourselves, of kind of free education, brain picking, contribution, like giving back. We do more than we've ever been given, I would say, by now. But there comes a point where you like, look, I can't just, I could have a full-time job just servicing my LinkedIn messages, right? That's not going to happen. Most people aren't going to pay me a penny. So it's they're just, what was that point? Can you put up back on the screen her comment?
Ana Lucia about
Please.
InMails?
Yes. No, about integrity of LinkedIn people. Basically, the point is that I've always wanted the way to establish someone's credibility, I think was the word you used, on LinkedIn. I've always looked at their track record. Now, the problem with your track record is it's you edited. So it's not validated. You can literally become whoever you want within kind of reason. I would love to see the LinkedIn history have an edit log, a change log, right? So anytime you update it, you can go back and see history, because what every product manager and lots of people are doing are wholesale rewriting their histories,
right?
And no one's challenging them on it, or no ATS is checking it up, or recruiter is validating their claims. So that would be one way to help understand people's credibility. But the other way is to understand how they're talking and how they're arguing on LinkedIn, because you can understand an awful lot from somebody from their perspective. Yeah.
And by the way, it is next Tuesday's show, so 20th of May, 6 p.m. Italy time, 5 p.m. in London. I will be talking about beware of fake recruiters on LinkedIn and how to spot them. So that's next Tuesday's show. I want to read Ana Lucia's comments before we forget, and then we'll answer Vicky's question. Ana Lucia says, some bad consultancies have KPIs around sending messages, scheduling interviews, and adding more people to their database. Doesn't mean a thing, it's just KPIs. We have to try to understand whether it's a real or fake message or email. Just a few weeks ago, a consultancy sent me a message saying they're looking for someone with my profile, but then they called me Deborah. They were copy-pasting that message. Simple as that. And Ana Lucia also made a great point. Remember that on LinkedIn, recruiters have a small amount of in-mails they can send. Imagine they have 25 in-mails they can send each month. They will get the credit back if you answer. So if you ghost them, you cost their credit. So good reminder that if you think a recruiter is fake or not totally above board or not a real account or whatever, feel free to not respond to them. And KB says, one thing to consider too is if you're talking to people at a public company and ask something like, what do you do in a day? They might see that as a question that could steer the conversation toward sharing material, non-public information. Yeah, it's tough to go up to someone and say, yeah, hey, Nick, we know your work's completely confidential, but what do you do in a day? Wah, wah.
I want to say one thing quickly in defense of recruiters, right? They're not
Sure.
all bad, right? And I know
Sure.
we just need to say that because there are some fantastic recruiters that have helped us all out, got us jobs. Recruiters are also people like you and me just trying to earn a living, and the KPIs aren't set by them, right? Most of them, and the ones that are bothering you are the juniors and the, well, whatever, mids. They're not
The
the
call center
experienced
ones.
seniors and leads. Yeah, exactly. So the seniors and the leads and the good guys, they're great, but they're not the ones that are causing you the grief. The ones that are causing you the grief are the amateurs and all the independents and nutters. So, or just juniors who are inexperienced. I used to believe in naming and shaming, but after getting literally hauled through like many fires on LinkedIn, I don't do that anymore. But that would go a long way to cleaning this mess up. You know, if you were allowed to call people out on their BS, people would stop quite quickly.
Yeah, there is some truth to that, but we must also be careful. So I'm going to put up Vicky's question, even though we did not get a clarification of it. So we're going to have to do our best to answer what we imagine Vicky means. Vicky posted in the live YouTube chat, current design scenario, no Figma experience, no design job. What's your view on this? I can only assume that Vicky might be talking about themselves, that they have no Figma experience and they cannot find a design job. I'm not sure how many different views there might be on this, but Nick, this is a tell it like it is, put your ass on the table type of channel. So Nick, what do you think?
I'm no design guru, never pretended to be one. I don't even know design anymore, right? So I'm assuming you want a job in design or you want a job in UX and you don't have design. I don't really know, but let's just assume you're looking for some kind of UX or UX UI or design kind of job. The bottom line, I think it stands today, is you need a portfolio, right? You won't get an interview without a portfolio. Right, so you need a portfolio, and that portfolio can't just be a whole bunch of AI generated slop. It can't be a whole bunch of stuff that you've done in the local Starbucks because it was a cool exercise because some influencer told you to do that. It needs to be real experience on a real gig with real outcomes and real learnings. That's the bottom line. And so to get into UX or to get into the design world that you want to, you should do what I and most other people do, is do whatever it takes. Move country, move town, do whatever it takes to get your foot in the door. That's it. But I should also say, UX is in a hell of a state right now, and there's a lot of people trying to do what you're doing still. So I would probably suggest other careers are better. And in the world of AI ahead of us, find something in the physical world rather than the knowledge worker world. Plumbing, painting, heart surgeon, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Debbie's brilliant book.
Yeah, so I've got a book called Life After Tech, and it's really designed for anybody considering a career shift or new work areas, even if you don't work in tech or were never able to transition into tech. This is still for you. It's available everywhere because it's on Amazon, and it's an audiobook. It's all the things. And it's an inexpensive book, and you can read it in about 5 hours. I do recommend. my book. In general, I would say, given where we are right now in mid 2025, with the job market, with the growth of AI tools, and how many AI tools are trying to do UX and UI design, in general, I'm advising against juniors trying to come into the industry, because I have to think about, I can say a cheerleader thing like Nick said, and the advice Nick and I used to give, which was keep working at it, keep trying to, whatever, build up your portfolio. But I don't think that's true anymore, because the question that I ask myself, and will be asking in my June 24th Take Action Tuesday broadcast about AI and UX careers, will this carry us to retirement? It's unfortunately not totally. It's unfortunately not totally likely that UX, research, design, content strategy are going to carry us to retirement. How many good years do we think we have left? When I asked Claude a few months ago when it thought it would be able to do my job, it said 5 years. I think that's possible. With the exponential growth of AI, could Claude do my job in 5 years? Maybe not as well as I do it, but could it do it 70% as well, and someone decides that's enough? Nick, what did you want to throw in?
No, I still think there's life for people like you and me before retirement, because where the product management is going, that's not a good trajectory. It's not sustainable. There's no way that the industry is going to support that for a couple of years longer. Maybe there's going to be a big bang in product world. And guess what? I think people like you and me may become product type folk or UX product managers or something like that, just to save the day, frankly.
Oh, wait till you see the new content I'm coming out with later this year. I am working on something super fresh. Knowing me, I'll turn it into a book. But I'm working on some super fresh things that definitely move into more of the product strategy space. And all I can say is get ready, everybody. Liz is here. Hi, Liz. With some of the recent posts by Duolingo, it seems like they and probably others are angling toward replacing designers with product managers, wondering how that's going to play out for them. Liz recommends Figma. Liz says if you are applying for a job, Figma is required for pretty much every job, and your portfolio needs to be pretty. Accessible coded prototypes are passé. Ana Lucia says Klarna already turned back, but they were using it for customer support. Let's please remember that. Klarna was not using AI for designers or product management. I think that was about customer support and chatbots. Their chatbot was so terrible. And it's easy for a chatbot to be terrible. But we'll talk about this on June 24th when I do my AI and UX careers live stream. So mark your calendars. So ultimately, I'm suggesting that people not transition into UX. Maybe Nick and I have a little bit of life left in us because people want what we offer. But if they want what we offer, why isn't my email ringing off the hook? Where's all my, why aren't people fighting over me? Why isn't there a bidding war on me? So I think that
it's coming.
I don't believe that, and that's what my June 24th show will be about. And people keep saying it's coming. I've been hearing for years that it's coming. I've been hearing for years, what you do is amazing. Nobody can replace you. You're so unique. You're this. You should charge more. And where's my job? So I don't think it's coming. I think we keep telling ourselves it's coming, and I think we hope it's coming, but I see no evidence that tells me it's coming. And that's what I'm looking for, partially as my personality and partially as a researcher.
In that case, I'm going to step up my awareness campaign. But be aware that there's only so much awareness that I can do. It needs the reality to be happening, which it is happening. So I can't push the awareness too quickly. People have to understand this stuff and watch what's happening firsthand. Like the world of Teresa, it ain't going well, kids.
No,
there's no ROI
not.
and you're never building good things. So at some point, you're going to go, and so I'm just going to keep the awareness up until that point. And that's when your phone starts ringing.
And that's what my new content will be about later this year. Watch this space. It'll be my product market fit stuff, which I'm wildly excited about. I think I've already written 106 slides. So I am building a full day workshop around this puppy. And if people are curious cats, you can also get on the waiting list. Oop, I'm blipping a bit because it'll end up I'll try it as a Maven cohort, even though I don't love Maven. But you can get on the Maven wait list. Just go to dcx.to/courses, and you can at least get on my product market fit waiting list. Melanie says Duolingo is replacing as many people as they can with AI, not just designers, but content writers too. Ana Lucia says Klarna tried to replace most of the workforce. They even laid off their machine learning engineer who coded the whole thing. Liz says, I've been hearing that for years. Might have a better chance of making money from a cat YouTube channel. I'll be talking about that on May 29th at our conference. Who signed up for our conference? Come on, people. Go over to dcx.to/events and check out the conference in 2 weeks. I'll be talking about that. So, yeah, I think those are today's questions. We'll need to wind down. Nick, go ahead.
Duolingo and Klarna seem like complacency brands at the moment. That's just what springs to mind, right? It's so easy in the product management to get complacent. I'm a market leader. I'm the marquee brand. I haven't got any really great competitors nipping at my heels. You know, that shit can change fairly quickly, and it gets really ugly, especially when you've got rid of all the resource that got you where you are. So interesting times are afoot, you know? That's the thing I like about our world. It's never boring, never dull.
Yeah, it's a little ugly, but it's certainly not dull. So I might start playing us out of here and getting ready for the show end. Just a reminder to everybody that I'll be broadcasting again on Tuesday with the Look Out for Fake Recruiters content. Sounds like some people need to watch that. So please do join us for that conversation. Wednesday, of course, will be Ask Me Anything. Nick, anything to add or plug or promote before we wind up?
Nah, you know me. When I've got something to plug or promote, you'll know about it. But thanks for watching and cheers for tuning in.
All right, well, I'm playing my outro music and